Hey, what's cracking, man? What it do? Y'all Raider Nation, Raider Nation, Raider motherfucking Nation. Y'all know what the fuck's cracking, man. It's your boy, the Sports Man. This is Raider Gang TV. I know it's been a minute, Raider Nation. It's been a minute, man. I've been wanting to come back on here and get this shit back popping. But it's just been a lot going on and me trying to just fucking maneuver around and shit like that, man. But either way it go, man, I'm here, man. It's Monday. Overreaction Monday, whatever everybody want to call it. But either way it go, man, it's Raider Gang TV. We back. And we're gonna start this off like every other show, man. You already know this right here is being sponsored by Drippy Whips Incorporated. That's where you go get your whip at. You need your whip. You need to tap in with Drippy Whips. And who's Drippy Whips? It's your boy, man. It's the CEO. Tap in with your boy, the Sports Man. I got you. Go check out Drippy Whips on Instagram. DRPIEWHIPSINC Instagram. Send the message. It's me. I tap you in. Whether you're looking for a fucking Toyota Camry, a Honda Civic, a Maserati, a Ferrari, or a fucking Lambo. Tap in, man. I got you. I got you. But shit, we're gonna go right into it, Raider Nation. We're gonna go right into it, Raider Nation. And we're gonna talk about the last game. Raiders against the Kansas City Chiefs on the road. Was it on the road? Yeah, I think that was on the road. Either way, it's Raiders against the Chiefs. Big game. You already know what it is. It's a rivalry. I know we coming in with only 2 wins, but you already know when rivals play, it don't even matter. That's why when the Cleveland Browns play the Pittsburgh Steelers, I don't give a fuck if the Steelers got 10 wins and the Browns got 3. That's not a gimme game. That game is a toss up, and it's really starting to become no different for the Raiders now, which is good shit. Because I believe the AFC West probably beat Patrick Mahomes total probably 4 times since he's been in Kansas City. But either way, we're gonna go ahead. We're gonna talk about Aiden O'Connell, man. Now, I want first off, I want to give Aiden O'Connell his props because people swear I don't like him, like personally, like I hate him or some shit. That's the stupidest shit I ever heard. But I got to give him his props right now because he came in Black Friday, minimum amount of practice. It was a short week of practice. Well, not really for him. He'd been practicing, doing everything on the sideline. But he hasn't played in what 4 or 5 weeks to get thrown in against the Chiefs, nationally televised game. You got to give him his props. There's nothing you can say. I don't care if you're an Aiden O'Connell fan or not. There's nothing you can say. He had a career game. He went out there threw over 340 yards, 2 touchdowns. I believe no picks. I mean, he played amazing. He played fucking amazing. He played a great game. He left a few throws out there, but man, that's any quarterback's gonna leave some throws out there. So we can't be nitpicking, right? So now, of course, you know how Raider Nation is. So now I got Raider Nation hitting me up saying the Raiders need to take the best player available. No need to go draft Shador Sanders or Cam Ward. I'm like, will y'all fucking relax and calm the fuck down with this bullshit? What are you talking about? What the fuck are you talking about? It's been one fucking game, Raider Nation. One game. One game doesn't get you a fucking job. Now, I got some of y'all saying, well, he's the reason AP got a job last year. How? Our offense still ended up in the bottom at the end of the season. It was our defense that was in the top 10 at the end of the season, and that's how we won those games at the end of the season. And when you and that's why some of y'all saying, well, he's the last quarterback to beat the Chiefs. Okay, he's the last one to beat the Chiefs. He had 60 yards. He has 60 yards. I'm not trying to rain on nobody's parade. I'm just trying to keep this shit trill and keep this shit in context because it's getting fucking irritating, man. It really is. It's really getting irritating. So I'm trying to keep this shit in context. But he had a great fucking game. He shit. I think he outplayed everyone's expectations. Let's just be real here. The offensive line did a pretty good job. But on top of that, he had a quick release. He looked comfortable in the offense. Can't lie. He looked pretty comfortable. That's no lie there. So I gotta give Aiden his credit for that. So of course I'm getting these people saying we don't like I said, we don't need a quarterback no more, this, that, and this. It's like, bruh, how the fuck we don't need a quarterback? Look, Aiden O'Connell last season, like I said, he ended the season with I believe 12 touchdowns, 8 picks or something like that. It wasn't pretty, all right. And that was with a top 10 offensive line. A lot of y'all don't like that, but it was a top 10 offensive line last season. And he played okay, but it wasn't enough that Antonio Pierce was comfortable putting his job on and not wanting a quarterback. I said that in the offseason. It wasn't enough of that. So he gave AOC Aiden O'Connell pretty much the edge already, right? He gave him the edge saying, "Look, you get the opportunity to come in with the first snaps. You take the first snaps," is what he said, right? Let me make sure my shit is right here, y'all. So he said, "Yeah, you take the first snaps." Now, they went to training camp and it just wasn't really good. It just wasn't really good for Aiden O'Connell. It didn't really work out. He struggled in training camp. He came in, he looked a little bit better as far as his body, but the fact that he couldn't separate from Gardner Minshew is a problem. That's a problem, Raider Nation. We're talking about a career backup. That's Gardner Minshew, a career backup guy. That's what he is. And you guys want to argue because you think that Aiden O'Connell beat him out when he didn't. We've seen the preseason games. In preseason, it was about who was going to make the bigger plays. And we watched in the preseason, Gardner Minshew, he had the big plays to Trey Tucker. Big plays to Trey Tucker. Aiden O'Connell had zero in those preseason games. He wasn't getting any kind of action. And then he went and he threw the fucking pick six. He had like two pick sixes, and then he threw a pick six on the very last game, which sealed his fate. So all I'm saying is we got to keep this in context. We got to keep it in context. Did he come out and show some moxie? Did he come out and show that he was a baller? Yeah, he did. He came out and he did his fucking job. But to pretend that he's gonna be better than any of these guys coming out in the draft would be just fucking foolish and it just would be setting the Raiders back to having the same record. So we definitely move on from Aiden O'Connell. We draft our quarterback and then we go from there. So I just want to go ahead and address that first, man. Just wanted to address that first. It's Aiden O'Connell shit. I love his game. He balled the fuck out, but let's keep it in context. He had 60 yards last time the Chiefs played him. So it is what it is, man. Now, another thing I want to talk about is old Coupon Tommy. Old Coupon Tommy, man. Now, a lot of y'all have different views on Tom Telesco. Mine, well, first thing, this is the first thing y'all say. I'll take Tom Telesco anytime. He drafted good. He drafted Brock Bowers. Okay. All right. I mean, I guess that was kind of a no-brainer, though. I mean, you couldn't lose how the draft ended up turning up. But either way it go, they figure he did a good job because the draft. All right, cool. All right, let's say he did a good job in the draft. Let's give him a B minus in the draft. Okay. All right. Now, what about the offseason? What about free agency? In free agency, I saw nothing. In free agency, the first person we ran out and signed, it was flashes of last year. First thing he ran to do was run out and sign Gardner Minshew, just like we ran out and signed Jimmy Garoppolo last year. So you went out, you signed Gardner Minshew. That's before you signed Christian Wilkins. You signed Gardner Minshew. So you signed Gardner Minshew to a multi-year deal, right? And keep in mind, we lost this offensive line. This offensive line was top 10 in pass protection last season. It was terrible in the run, but it was top 10 in pass protection. And you saying, okay, well, I'm not going to add anyone but Christian Wilkins and who do you bring in? There's only Christian Wilkins and Minshew who had who got a multi-year deal. Everybody else came in on a one-year deal, like Bryant, the tight end, like Alexander Madison. So one-year deal. So you have all this money, and you had holes to fill. You had Patrick Queen there. We could have grabbed Queen as a linebacker. We could have grabbed a lot of different players to help this team, and that's also his job. It's not just the draft. So I give him a C plus, a B minus in the draft. I give him a B minus in the draft, and I give him an F in free agency. A F. He got an F in free agency, and that's why the other day they had to come out with a whole fucking post saying that Tom Telesco expected to return. Why the fuck? Who else is saying that? Did the Broncos come out and say they GM is expected to return? Did the fucking Houston Texans come out and say they GM is expected to return? Did did the fucking did the fucking Cleveland Browns come out and say they GM is destined to? What are we talking about? What are we talking about? So the fact that they got to bring up Telesco to return lets you know that it's been chatter. It's been chatter about what he's been doing in his job. And like I said, I give him a B on the draft, but he gets an F in free agency. It's not even fucking close. It's not close because for one, you didn't replace the offensive line. The offensive line ended up top 10 in the PFF at the end by the end of the season. It was a top 10 offensive line. We lose some pieces of the offensive line, and Telesco doesn't replace these pieces. So you don't replace these pieces on the O line, and then on top of that, you bring in Gardner Minshew. I mean, you went and got Gardner Minshew and gave him a 2-year deal guaranteed because you didn't believe in Aiden O'Connell. Okay, fine, that's fine. But why are you gonna run out and give him a 2-year deal and nobody else? Just Aiden O'Connell, Christian Wilkins 2-year deal, everybody else on a 1-year deal. So, well, like I said though, he replaced nobody. Got us the offensive line. The offensive line I got these quarterbacks written down that we had access to. We're not talking about the draft. We already know what happened in the draft, y'all. We can argue about that all day because y'all gonna say, "Hey, man, he tried in the draft. It was no way we can get it was no way we can get Jaden Daniels." I want y'all right now to go to your phones and Google what did the Raiders offer for Jaden Daniels. Go Google it, and once you Google it and see that you can't find what was offered for him, you'll understand that he swung and he missed. He didn't even swing. I don't even think he even swung in the draft at all. I don't think he even tried to make a move because he had permission to make a move and he didn't make the move. This is all a part of his grade. And then the quarterbacks that he could have had, Russell Wilson for like 1.5, Justin Fields for a fucking fifth, sixth round pick, Kirk Cousins, he wanted to get paid, no problem. Ryan Tannehill, he's still chilling on the sideline. It was quite a few quarterbacks available before the Raiders would have to come in with their hands sitting on their hands. So when we judge Telesco, we got to judge Telesco in the whole as a whole, not just oh he drafted Brock Bowers. Okay, that's cool. It's not like you found Brock Bowers in the 5th round and nobody knew who the fuck he was. I mean, come on now, it wasn't the diamond in the rough, but he did that. I'll give him that. But Tom Telesco, he has a lot to prove, and he is a big part of the problem, and he has to be a part of the solution if this team is going to go anywhere from here on out for the rest of the shit for next season. Now I want to look right here. Let me pull this up. I want to look right here to the rest of the NFL schedule. Okay, now we got Aiden O'Connell back, whatever that means. But this Sunday we on the road in Tampa Bay against the Buccaneers. Okay. Now that to me that game, when it comes to Baker Mayfield, the Raiders I think we 1-1 against Baker Mayfield. We beat him when he was in Cleveland, and he beat us when he was on the Rams. So we already know that the Tampa Bay Bucks got receivers. We know Mike Evans is coming to eat, and if you've been watching the Tampa Bay Bucks, you'll see that they've been airing it out. Baker Mayfield, he's been earning my respect. I got to give it to him. I used to shit on him like crazy, but I got to give him his respect. He's starting to change the way I feel about him. So we got that game in Tampa Bay. That's a game that, like I said, I looking at these guys. I don't expect the Raiders to win this game. Look, let's just break it down real quick. Raiders in Tampa Bay. Raiders at home against the Falcons. The Raiders at home against the Jaguars. The Raiders on the road against the Saints. The Raiders at home against the Chargers. Now, I'm looking at the Buccaneers game. I don't see us winning that game unless Aiden O'Connell is going to be doing what he did against the Chiefs. I don't see us winning that game. At home against the Falcons are up and down. We don't even know. It might be Penix Jr. playing at that time. It might be Penix Jr. playing, and it's a Monday night game. I can't wait for that one. Okay. And then we got the Jacksonville Jaguars on the road in Las Vegas. Now I'm gonna be at that game. And that's one game that I do want the Raiders to win. But we'll see how it goes. Because if Trevor Lawrence comes back, even though he got cheap shot at the other day, if he comes back, then the Raiders have a chance to actually lose that game too, which would not be a bad thing. That's a good thing. As long as we're going out there fighting hard, that's the only thing that matters to me because I want to make sure that we get a chance to bring this fucking my guy Antonio Pierce back to have a real shot with a real quarterback. So that's what it's all about. And then we got the Saints on the road, going to go play Derek Carr on the road. Now you already know he's gonna have a green light to air it out. It's gonna be a revenge game. So, and on top of that, that's the game that if Derek Carr loses that game, he'll have lost to every single team in the NFL, which is also a team stat for the Raiders. But yeah, that's a game that I don't see us winning either on the road in the dome. That's gonna be a tough game. But for us, it's not a bad thing. You know what I mean? And then we got the Los Angeles San Diego Clipper Chargers coming out to Las Vegas. That's a game we normally would win, but being that they are in the playoff hunt, they're gonna need that game. We're not gonna need that game. We're gonna be playing for pride. or maybe even playing for the number one pick. So when I look at these games, I see the Raiders maybe winning one more game, maybe one more. And that's to me, that's the only thing you can win is one more game to stay in this hunt for the number one pick. To stay in the quarterback hunt, you gotta you that's what you're gonna have to do. So that's where I see us at right now, man. And then I want to get into the hot topic. This is the hottest topic, man, going on right now in Raider Nation, and that is my guy Antonio Pierce. I get messages every fucking day talking about I need to stop defending Antonio Pierce. You need to fucking stop doing it. I mean, at this point, I'm like his fucking lawyer as much as I gotta defend Antonio Pierce from all this bullshit and craziness that I'm fucking hearing from y'all, Raider Nation. Man, I'm gonna break it down. I'm gonna break this shit down, man. Now you tell me this. Is it AP's fault that they did not go and get a quarterback in the draft? Is that AP's fault that they did not give Josh Jacobs the contract that he was asking for? Is it AP's fault that Telesco went out and grabbed Gardner Minshew? None of these is his fault. None of these are his decision, right? I just want everything to be in context, Raider Nation. And that's why I say right now, AP has the hardest job in the NFL. He has the hardest coaching job in the NFL because it's so many fucking people in his ear, man. You got fucking you got Tom Telesco punk ass. You got fucking Champ Kelly, who I think he's about to be out of there. You got fucking Tom Brady now. You got fucking Mark Davis. You got fucking oh boy from the Cincinnati Bengals. I forgot his name right now because you already know I've been smoking all day. I forgot his name. So I mean, you got a lot of people. Tom Coughlin. Too many fucking people in this man's ear when this man has no power to do the things that needs to be done. So he has a tough ass job to me for mainly just for that fucking reason. Just for that fucking reason. Then when you look at the timeline on how this whole thing even broke down, it don't even make fucking sense. Doesn't even make sense. This whole offseason, everyone's clamoring for Antonio Pierce. Hire him, hire him, hire him, hire him, hire him. As soon as the season ends, hire Antonio Pierce. Yeah, NWA, straight out of Compton, West Side, Antonio Pierce. Yeah, that's all I'm hearing. All I'm fucking hearing. And then the next thing you know, well, hold up. First, let's go there. First, they hire Antonio Pierce after all the fan cry, outcry, and everything else. They hire him on January 20th. He's officially hired. Contract finalized. He's so hyped. It's him, Champ Kelly, and also the president of the Raiders. And they're very hyped, right? This looks like a whole new direction. This is a whole new team that's coming in. It's we all turned up about this shit, right? And then 4 days later, they hired Tom Telesco. Now, the moment they hired Tom Telesco was the moment AP's tune changed. Because if you remember before, he was saying, hey, they said, you got to worry about Jim Harbaugh. You got to worry about. He said, "Hey, they got to worry about us," because he's thinking we're gonna have much different team than what actually got trotted out there. So when Telesco came over, I already knew it was a problem because the first thing, I mean, only thing Antonio Pierce said as before he got the job and after he got the job is, "I want to bring back Josh Jacobs. He's the heart of this team. He's this. I love Josh Jacobs. Josh Jacobs, my guy, Josh Jacobs. I love Josh Jacobs. It's all about Josh Jacobs." And what Tom Telesco do the moment he came in that motherfucker, they interviewed him. He says, "I believe in a two back or three. I believe in a three back system." I said, "What the fuck? Who the fuck gives a fuck what you believe in?" For one, the Chargers have been fucking bottom five in rushing the past fucking 10 years. The past 10 fucking years, they've been bottom five in the rushing game. So why the fuck we give a fuck with Tom Telesco vision is when it comes to the running game. When Josh Jacobs himself has outrun the fucking Los Angeles San Diego Clipper Chargers his whole career as a Raider, he's outrushed them year by year and as a total. And you tell me that we're gonna listen to this motherfucker with a three back system that it has proven to never fucking work? That's when I knew that this shit was gonna be an issue. That's when I knew they wasn't on the same page, and that's when I knew that Antonio Pierce can't fucking stand Tom Telesco. That's when I figured it out. And then once you don't do that, it's already you seen it all going different. His energy changed. Antonio Pierce's whole energy changed. He was the most hyped coach. He was ready. He pulling up in the low. He like because he feeling like this is his team. The moment they hired Tom Telesco let it be known, I am the safeguard. This is my team. This is my team. He let him know that. He let him know that from the beginning. And that's why when you see them, they do not have the same vision. They have the opposite vision. And I will say that Tom Telesco has drafted some good players, Justin Herbert, but like I said, it was either Herbert or Tua. You feel me? Like it's not like it was a tough decision. So he's drafted some guys there. I'm gonna give him credit for that. But to pretend that he has a philosophy when it comes to the running game or anything like that is fucking asinine. That's a 10, that's 11, that's a 12, like Skip Bayless would say, because the shit is stupid as fuck. It don't make sense. It don't make sense. That's like coming in and say, listening to a fucking GM whose fucking quarterback's been 32nd in the league every fucking year, and you're gonna come in and give us your 2 cents about what you think a quarterback should do. We don't give a fuck. Why the fuck we gonna give a fuck what you got to say about a quarterback when your quarterback fucking been terrible for 10, 11 years? The fuck out of here. This is the same situation. This is the same situation. So to me, this is gonna be a rocky, a rocky situation until Tom Brady comes in and says, you know what? Until Tom comes in and Tom's time. When Tom Brady comes in and Tom Telesco, we'll have a more clear vision of what we're trying to do. We'll have a more clear vision of what we're trying to do because that shit is ridiculous and it makes no fucking sense. It makes no fucking sense at all. So hopefully Tom Telesco can get fucking just pushed out the way so Tom Brady can do his shit and we can just go from there because I can't fucking take this Tom Telesco shit. He need to get the fuck out the way because his vision is in the way of the true Raider vision. And the Raider vision is to go out there and get it. It's to go out there and get it, Raider Nation. And right now, the Raiders can this listen to me, Raider Nation. The Raiders can go from worst to first if they do the right things in the offseason. The way that we play the Chiefs is better than anybody else can play the Chiefs right now. So we come back playing the Chiefs next year with filling these linebacker holes, filling these holes on the defensive end, on the defensive line, filling these holes at safety, filling these holes at wide receiver. Once we fill these holes and draft our quarterback, the Raiders can easily go from worst to first. They can go from worst to first, or at least from worst to second in the division. You seen what Jaden Daniels and Cliff Kingsbury doing over there. The Raiders can do that exact same thing. There's no reason they can't do that. They can do the exact same thing, but you have to build the team the correct way. And that's why this whole entire conglomerate is all dependent on the way that Telesco feels this team, feels the needs, and feels the holes. And that's just what it is, like it or not. So before you come for Antonio Pierce's head, we have to look at the pieces that he's given to play with. And also we have to look at the pieces that were there that he could have had that were left, and now they're all producing. Like Josh Jacobs producing, Russell Wilson producing, Justin Fields producing. These it goes on and on. These guys are producing that we could have still had, or that we could have had. So I just want to come back and bring that up, man, Raider Nation. And I appreciate y'all tapping in, man. Make sure y'all share this, like this, comment, subscribe to the channel. And we gonna keep it raw, man. We can keep it raw gutter, man. Raw and uncut. You already know how I do it, man. It's Raider fucking Nation. And we gonna keep this shit popping, man. You already know what it is, man. So yeah, like I said, hit that like button, hit that follow. Follow me on TikTok, man. If you ain't follow me on TikTok, follow me on TikTok. Follow me on Instagram at the Sportsman. And shit, you can even follow me on YouTube. I mean, not on YouTube, but on fucking Facebook. But yeah, till next time, y'all, it's time for me to go ahead and get my little tree. Time for me to get my roll up on, man. And I gotta go get me some more tree before the place closed, man. So till then, Raider Nation, appreciate y'all, man. Tap the fuck in, drop your comments, man. I want to know how y'all feel about this shit, man. Until then, Raider fucking Nation, bitch. We out this motherfucker. One love.